Hi, I'm Aumkaar and this is the video for my assignment 5 of DIY lab where we have to disassemble a home appliance, identify the parts in it, state the materials used for those parts, discuss the working principle and then reassemble it back. So for this assignment, I've chosen this table fan which is made by Bajaj. It uses a shaded pole motor to rotate the blades. It also has a on and off switch and it does not have any speed regulator. Here the material used in the body is entirely plastic. Dimension is 36 by 21 by 16 centimeters. The wattage of this fan is 48 watts and the RPM provided is 2300. So now let's disassemble it. Now the piece that I have here is quite old and has been out of use for a few years now. The blades have got jammed up and they do not rotate even though you can hear the motor rotating. So I expect that once I am done reassembling it, I can show it working. The first part that I am removing is a plastic panel at the bottom which has a hole in it that can be used to hang the fan on a hook or a nail in the wall. Here I am removing the screw that clamps the base to the head of the fan. It has a nut on one side and a blue knob on the other side. This blue knob can be used to tighten or loosen the screw joint, doing which we can adjust the position of the head of the fan. The base has got detached now. This base also has a switch on it, the internal mechanism of which is visible in the inside. Moving on, now we'll remove the back cover of the fan behind which the motor is present. There are two screws that attach this back cover to the body of the fan. After this, now we'll remove the front cover of the cage, and it was quite challenging to do so because I could not figure out how to remove it. It appeared as if it has got stuck to the rear part. But somehow, after 30 minutes or 40 minutes of struggle and using 3 or 4 screwdrivers simultaneously, I was able to remove it. And now that I have finally removed it, we'll now try removing the blades. The blades are out and what we have in our hand now is the actual motor. This is a shaded pole motor. I'll show its different parts to you and also describe their working. But before that, let me run this motor once. As now I'm plugging in the wires, the motor is turning. We can't see it now, so I'll attach the blades. Yes, here you can see the blades running. So in a way, I actually brought this appliance back to working condition. Now I'll remove the rotor, which is present in the top part of this shaded pole motor. Shaded pole motor is a self-starting motor and is actually the original type of AC single-phase induction motor dating back to as early as 1890. Today, it is used mostly to rotate the blades of small fans and devices which require low starting torque, such as exhaust, refrigerator, hair dryer, record players, or as you can see here, a table fan. This type of motor does not contain any commutator, brushes, collector rings or any other part, thus the chances of failure of the motor are less. However, the power factor of the motor is low and the power losses are high. That's why the designs are kept small and the motor has low power ratings. Now you can see the parts here. So the first part that is shown here is the main winding. The AC input goes into the main winding here, which then acts as a primary coil. Next is the shaded coil. You can see two pairs of copper coils, each pair on one corner of the rotor. These coils are called shaded coils. They act as secondary winding. The image on the left is a top view and the image on the right shows the coils along with the shaded poles on the inside. There are two shaded poles here, each corresponding to a pair of coils. The rest of the inner region is called main pole or unshaded pole. Finally, this is the cage rotor. Here on the left, you can see the rotor inside the motor, whereas the image on the right shows the rotor when removed. Rotor is the part that rotates and has the axle fit to it. So these were the parts that are present in the motor. Now we'll move on to the working of this shaded pole motor. Here you can see the wires that bring the AC power to the main winding. When alternating current flows through this main winding, current is also induced in the shaded coils due to the flux linkage. So, flux is now created by main winding as well as by the copper shaded coils. And the flux being produced by the latter lags behind the flux that is being created by this main winding. This phase angle difference provides the starting torque and causes the rotor to rotate. The rotor is present between these poles. So when this starting torque is provided to it, it will start spinning, it will start rotating, and it has this axle attached to it, and the blades are joined to this axle. So in this way, all these different parts of the motor power the blades of the fan to rotate. Now that we have disassembled the whole fan and explained its working, we'll now try to reassemble it back and hope that it still works when we are done reassembling it. here, the fan is still in working condition and is working very well. As I said earlier, the blades of this fan were not rotating when I started this assignment. So now as you can see that once we removed all the dirt that was jamming the blades, it has started working. So this was my assignment. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it.